Hi there everybody, it's the great and glorious, soon to be famous one day, Nick Dutch, back on the camera again one more time. Hi there, how the heck's it going? Now I was requested to do a video recently upon a subject which I only know a very, a certain quantity, shall we say. I'm not the most well-versed person in this one particular subject. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk and I'm going to tell you what I know, basically what little I know on this one particular subject, and I'm going to leave everybody else to freely make their own video responses and apply them to this particular video, or freely leave your comments and carry on with the conversation on the subject, because the subject we're going to discuss today is the Necronomicon. I don't know if you've heard about it. It is a alleged, book of black magic spells, which is heavily connected to the horror fiction written by H.P. Lovecraft. He was a great and well-loved author quite a long time ago now, and he wrote some pretty scary stuff, which is still being expanded upon by other fiction authors, including Stephen King, who wrote one story called Grandma, which was based upon the creatures or the fictional entities in the Cthulhu mythos, as it's called, because the phrase mythos essentially means mythological structure or religious structure which is created from something, and that's what people call it. It's the Cthulhu mythos, and Cthulhu is one of the weird beings in one of the entities within the stories. Often the creatures associated with the Cthulhu mythos are terrifying. There's, the black goat of the woods, there's Cthulhu himself, which is a rather tentacly creature, and, a wide variety of others. Spooky, they're horrific, they're slimy, they're threatening, they're bigger than us, stronger than us, they know more than us, they've got their own desires of what they want. They can choose to be your friend or not, as the case may be, and so there's a feeling of chaos or disorder or fear associated with them. But the Necronomicon itself, what is that? Well, essentially, just like all things that come into modern day occultism, it's got its roots in things such as the Lesser Key of Solomon and in voodoo, which is very similar to what ceremonial magic practitioners do, but in a slightly different way. And so there's various talismans, there's little bits where you can allegedly trap your alleged spirit, and ways of talking to and communicating with these alleged entities. The strange thing about the Necronomicon, from my point of view, is that it's got lots of false histories associated with it. Earlier on in my YouTube career, I watched one of those New World Order conspiracy theory videos, and in it, the pundit who had doing this long 1-hour rant about how terrible the New World Order is and like the Freemasons try and take over the world and other, lies. He was suggesting that the Necronomicon is a real book. Not a fictional book, but a real book, which is owned by the Catholic Church. And the Catholics were using this to try and, summon demons so they can control the world and distort people's minds, because they're, somewhere between like lunchtime and high tea, they're all doing satanic rituals and crucifying children and all kinds of weird stuff. It was a load of bullshit, okay? But people do this about anything which is associated with the occult. They will create a false history, they will create a false mythology, and they'll try and get people to believe it. I would say that one of the reasons for this is that fear and paranoia are two of the world's greatest drugs. I thought this a while ago, and I think it's like even more now, because if you can terrify someone, they will get some kind of brain chemistry release or hormonal release which will put them in a flight-fight state of mind, which some people can actually enjoy and get a bit of a kick out of, and that can be a driving force which can help to sell books or get people to attend various conferences on how evil this, that and the other is. Why worry about this? Is there some kind of connection to Middle Eastern religion? Well, possibly. I mean, all the traditions that we have right now, they've all come to us through cross-cultural transfer. That means the religious traditions, that means the cultural traditions, the alphabet we use, the numbers we use, they all come from different countries. We are founded upon the best things of other cultures, and our culture will have the ability to give back to other cultures. That's essentially the way that it works, and that works with forms of spiritualism anyway. A while ago I saw some satanic videos, just out of idle curiosity. And these young would-be Satanists were essentially doing something which is more or less identical to the Wiccan circle casting, which of course comes from the Judeo-Christian tradition. But they were doing it using the demons from the Lesser Key of Solomon in the Four Quarters, as if to say, this is the way that Satanists do things. But essentially, if you were to remove the names and a few of the symbols, you still got the actions being the same. They're still, invoking weird stuff in the four quarters, and sealing the circle and all the rest of that stuff. It's all still there. So you got these like satanic people who are practicing basically a form of Christian spiritualism. Alright? You got people who are selling false histories about something from fiction. Alright, confusing the message as to what these things are all about anyway. The New Age world, or this particular aspect of the New Age world, is becoming a bit of a clusterfuck, to be quite frank. And as such, I don't think that you can trust anything which is presented to you as being a hard and fast truth. There was one version of the Necronomicon that was actually written and printed and published, and I saw a copy of it at one time. I think it was called the Simon Necronomicon, or it's known as the Simon Necronomicon. And it's received an awful lot of criticism because it's not it doesn't follow the mythology properly. So it's not a authoritative source for people who want to start following the religion of Cthulhu, because some people have turned this into a form of spiritual religion. They believe in the objective existence of Cthulhu, and Shug-Niggurath, I think, is the name of the black goat of the woods, or something along those lines. It's been a while since I've actually read into this, so you'll just bear with me for the moment. It's weird. I mean, I'm not quite sure what benefits someone actually feels that they can get from turning H.P. Lovecraft's fiction into a religion to live by. I mean, seriously, I think that there's, something not very productive about that. That's just my interpretation, of course. You're free to do whatever you want and go for it. I don't know whether you've been following this on YouTube, but there was a guy who set up a cult of Cthulhu, and it's sort of like not doing all that well. And so that was actually quite funny, really. Just realise that there's an awful lot of straightforward, out and out bullshit out there, and we just got to start filtering through it. I mean, I'm sure there must be websites out there of people who say they've got a lot of success through using the Necronomicon. Well, obviously onward and upward, but I've also seen some satanic websites who say that they've been able to contact alien intelligences and have had, dealings with the grey aliens, which is quite interesting as well. Yes, okay, yeah, I'll leave it at that.